filming this episode of Adventure Riding TV in Vermont. It's February, so we're in a car and not on our motorcycles. We're actually in a Subaru because when in Rome. We're headed to Moto Vermont, an adventure motorcycle rental company that also charts courses for people who want to fly up here and take adventures through Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, and I guess even into Canada. We'll hear more about that from the owner and the guy who runs it. His name's Eric. And I'm also here today with two other people. I'm here with Al and Derek. You may not recognize them without their helmets on. They are part of our program with regard to the 7 Scenic Byways and our earlier episodes of Adventure Riding TV when it was mostly just filming from the motorcycles.
Got a couple of shout outs. Pam Tiki Trex for her season 4 contribution and upcoming Caribbean Adventures suggestion, connecting us with Rick Moore in ambient real life. Decay is headed your way. Tom Burt and sometimes Sarah for allowing us to make, then airing our intro video for an episode of their program. Caribbean Vibrations, radio host John Hoyt for giving us time on his radio show to talk about our program Cleveland, Detroit. Also to Dex Davison and Will Patterson for joining us with on-air telephone interviews. Ecuador Freedom Bike Rental, Sylvan and Court for sharing stunning videos of ADV riding in South America with us. Also for connecting us with Moto Vermont, our destination today. You guys are the best. Cleveland Moto, Phil Waters for making time to record with us the episode we filmed in Cleveland, Ohio. Also to Andrew Markalonis for exploring abandoned buildings as well. And L-Cat, Don Mackey for all of his support to our program. It takes a station manager like Don to make our show successful. And to our viewers, thank you for watching.
I moved from New York City to Vermont when I was 19 years old. I was looking for a different mode of transportation. I love traveling. Love traveling by car, but I was looking for something a little bit more unique, something that would really put me in the scene rather than just watching it through a windscreen. My brother-in-law actually suggested I try motorcycling, and I bought a little 650 cc bike, which was huge for me at the time, and I just started riding. And I started going down 20-mile rides, turned to 40-mile rides, turned to hundreds of miles of rides. And before I knew it, the end of that summer, I had 10,000 miles I had put on that bike. I had driven it to the Finger Lakes, I had driven it to Maine a couple of times. I rode it all the way down to Texas and back to Vermont, and I loved it, and I was hooked.
My name's Eric Milano, and I own Moto Vermont, and here we are at our headquarters in Burlington, Vermont. What we do here is we rent motorcycles for the most part. We also offer motorcycle tours, on-road and off-road. We started about 4 years ago. This will be coming into our 4th season. We started with 4 bikes, and now we're up to about 15 bikes, so things are moving pretty smoothly. We have customers coming from down the street, from South America, from Japan. We get a lot of European customers coming here. We also do not only rentals out of this shop, but we also deliver bikes all over the region. So we are down in Boston fairly often, dropping bikes at Logan Airport, dropping bikes in Hartford. We've even had deliveries down to Washington, D.C. and New York City. So we're really, we're all over the place as far as our rentals go. We have a couple of different kinds of bikes that we rent here. Our most popular bike is definitely the R1200 GS's. We've got 6 of them right now. The 1200 GS is a great bike for New England and the Northeast in general. It's got a great suspension system. It's a very powerful twin-cylinder motor. They're 1200 cc's. We actually have, these are the older generations, so these are 2010 to 2012. And then we also have the latest generation, which we're slowly replacing our fleet with. The newest BMW R1200 GS. This is the water-cooled version. It's brand new for BMW in 2013. Slowly but surely, all of our bikes, all of our fleet of GSs will be the water-cooled. Right now, we have 3 of them so far. So this, you know, as I said, this is a great bike for on and off road. The suspension on it is excellent. It's got a multi-tiered electronic throttle control, so you can actually set the throttle for the type of riding you're doing. So it's got on a road mapping, it's got a tour mapping, it's also got an off-road mapping. Each one of these variations will adjust the suspension slightly, adjust the throttle control, as well as adjust the electronic braking and traction control. So of course on the on-road version you'll have maximum traction control, maximum power, and then of course, and then on the off-road version they dull down the power a little bit, they take off the traction control a little bit so you can get a little skidding on the rear wheel, and they also drop down the ABS because ABS actually inhibits the braking off-road. So that's the GS. This is our most popular bike because it fits so well in New England and in the Northeast. All of our GSs come with side cases and top case, as well as tank bag. So they're fully ready to tour. You see the GPS attachment right here. The GPSs hook right in on the new GSs. They actually lock in, and you need the key to remove them, which is a really nice anti-theft system. So that's the GS. These guys get about 45 miles to the gallon. They're very fast, they're very comfortable, and that's probably the reason why they are our #1 bike, and to my knowledge they're BMW's #1 seller. As a side note, I have a 2007 1200 GS as my personal bike. I've had it up to Alaska, up to Labrador many times. It's got 87,000 miles on it, and knock on wood, I've never had an issue with it. So, from experience, I think these are great bikes. We also offer some larger motorcycles, so some people like to travel 2 up, or just prefer a more touring-oriented bike. So this is BMW's flagship, and it's also our flagship touring bike. This is the K1600 GTL. This is a 6-cylinder, 167 horsepower touring bike. This bike has pretty much every bell and whistle you could possibly think of on a motorcycle. It's got a radio. It has a automatic leveling windshield. It's got an integrated GPS unit. It's got heated handlebars, as well as heated passenger and driver seats. It has storage everywhere. It's got a great xenon lighting system for the headlights, and LEDs on the back for the tail. It's this is really the machine if you want to crush some miles. If you have hopes of doing 400, 500, 600 mile days, if you want to get out to Nova Scotia or up into Quebec where they have kind of wider, longer roads. If you have a passenger that wants to be comfortable, this is the machine to have. You can go through a rainstorm and put that windshield up and almost not feel a drop on this bike. It's a really well designed bike. ergonomically and aerodynamically. It's a mean machine. It's 800 pounds, so it's all there. It's solid as a freight train. But I mean, if you're used to big touring bikes, this thing can corner like it's on a rail. I mean, it's a really well-designed bike. It can be very sporty, but it's more than anything ultimately comfortable. This is a super popular bike for couples traveling. We get a lot of couples that normally have a Goldwing or a Harley at home, and they want something comparable. So this is what we usually suggest. And we don't have many complaints on it. It's a great bike. In fact, I think of any of our bikes, this is probably the most popular bike that when people come back, they say, I'm buying that bike. Where's the closest BMW dealer? Because I want one of those. And we get that a lot on a lot of our bikes. We rent some pretty cool bikes. So, but this one by far, definitely, it sucks people in. And I think people are really blown away by it. Compared to their Harley Ultra Classics or Goldwings, this thing just has ultimate power, ultimate luxury, and that's the GTO. We also feature the R1200 RT, which is a slightly smaller displacement touring bike, but still many of the same features as the GTL. So those are some real, if you really want to crunch some miles and get up to Nova Scotia or Gaspé or up into Quebec, I mean, that's really, those are some awesome machines. Our latest endeavor at Moto Vermont is our dual sport editions and our dual sport tours. This is a KLR 650. This is a great bulletproof bike. The KLRs are kind of a dual purpose workhorse for us. We use them as on our dual sport tours. So we lead tours all throughout the Northeast Kingdom of Vermont and through the Green Mountains of Vermont on historic dirt roads dating back to the American Revolution. These tours, they can get pretty rough, with water crossings and logs and rocks. So we find that these KLRs work great. We outfit them with knobby tires, with crash bars, with hand guards, as well as sump plates to protect the motors. And we run these things all day long. They're great for dual sporting because they're light enough and they accept knobby enough wheels and tires that they can get over some of the rough stuff, but they can also rip through the twisties. They can do 70 miles an hour on the interstate if they need to. They're just really great all-around bikes. They're single-cylinder, 650cc. They've got nice big tanks. I believe these tanks are 5.5 gallons, which is excellent. You can run them all day long and not have to worry about gas. We do outfit them with hard luggage if need be. We can also use these bikes as on-road bikes for on-road tours for our budget travelers. So some guys don't want to spend, $150, $170 a day for our 1200 GS. They can get this in the low 100s, and they get 75 miles a gallon as far as fuel economy. We would put on-road tires on for them and put the luggage on, and they're good to go. So they're great bikes for just regular everyday touring as well. That's why we kind of call them our double duty bikes. They do the off-road stuff, and they're also great budget tours. We have 4 of them right now, and they're just great bikes all around. The dual sport tours we have are very unique.
Vermont's got a network of historic roads dating back to the American Revolution that they don't maintain, but they also don't allow to be blocked or built upon. So what we've done is we've pieced together hundreds of miles of these roads called Class 4 roads and made them into dual sport tour roads. So basically you're on these 300, 400-year-old roads that were once the main roads for these places, but now they've been totally taken over by Mother Nature. And we've found miles, hundreds of miles of them that go through and connect together. And basically we put people on dual sport bikes, much like a Kawasaki KLR 650, with dirt tires and crash bars, And we lead people down these roads, and you know, not only are you having a blast by splashing through mud puddles and crossing rivers and you know, climbing steep terrain, there's also a huge history element. So you're passing these beautiful stone walls, cellar holes dating back to the 1700s where there were once farmhouses. There are still taverns, there are still general stores, there are still some towns that are left intact. These roads are super unique and super fun, and they're almost made for dirt bikes and dual sport bikes. And that's our latest endeavor, and that's one of my favorite parts of this business is showing people these awesome roads and that you'd never find by yourself.
Of course, during all of our tours, if we're not leading the tour, you're always supported by us. So if there's ever an issue, we are, you know, here at the shop, and we're ready with extra bikes and extra staff to tackle whatever obstacles might arise during a motorcycle trip. So it's an extra peace of mind when you take a bike from us that you will get that bike to where it needs to go. Here in South Burlington, we're right across the street from the airport, so we offer free shuttle service to and from the airport. We have many hotels that we work with that offer discounts to our customers. All the hotels we work with are unique. All of them have excellent dining, either on premises or within walking distance, because we know we're riders and we're motorcycle travelers as well, and we know that the worst thing is to have to get to your hotel, check in, get all your gear off, and then get back on the bike to go out to dinner. So we make sure all of our dining is excellent and on premises or within walking distance. That's a really important aspect to our tours. So another facet of our business, in addition to rentals, is tours. And most of our tours are led by GPS. So all of our bikes are equipped with GPS units. And what we do is we map out the best roads, the best places to eat, the best places to stay, and we download them onto GPS. So it's a day-by-day guide, and for our multi-day tours, they're set up very simply, whereas when you turn on the bike, you hit day one, and it will begin the tour immediately. When you come up to an attraction or a lunch stop, it'll flash on the screen, attraction on your right, or attraction 2 miles. You also have a hard copy piece of paper route guide with you that will list in more detail the particular attraction or restaurant or lodging establishment. So this is really cool for people that aren't familiar with our area or our region. We go ahead and we book all the rooms for people in advance, so we get a certain discount on those lodging. It makes it, it then goes on to the consumer. So the lodging is in here. The GPS guided route itself cuts down on cost because you don't have an actual guide to follow. You can also do it at your own pace. So if you want to do it a little faster, you can spend a little more time at attractions, or if you want to do it a little slower, you can get up early and get an early start on it. There's also direct routes, so if you start running into weather or time delays, you can press a direct route and it will take you right to your lodging for the evening without any other stops. So there's a couple of options. You are also given maps as well, so if you choose not to follow the GPS route, that's fine. You can do your own thing. You've got maps, you've got the GPS to guide you along if you'd like. So the GPS tours are a really great facet of our business. It just pretty much ensures people are going to be on the best motorcycling roads every day of their trip. I moved to Vermont when I was 19. I've been here for almost 15 years. I was never much of a motorcyclist growing up. I grew up in a big city, so I just never had the opportunity to own dirt bikes or any kind of bike, really. So when I came up here, I just was blown away by how beautiful the roads are and how quiet, and I just really wanted a different kind of transportation, and I tried motorcycling. I bought a 650 one-cylinder BMW, a F650 GS it was called, and I just loved it. I took to it right away. I started riding any second I could, any chance I could. All my vacations started, becoming surrounded by motorcycling and having motorcycling as a key feature. My first really long trip was in December of all times. I rode from Burlington, Vermont, all the way down to Texas. I rode to Austin and then down to Galveston and back up the Natchez Trace Highway. And I did 10,000 miles on that trip, and I was just hooked. I knew I wanted to go further and faster and bigger on motorcycles. The next summer I bought a 1200 GS. I was pretty hooked on the GS line, and I rode it out of the dealer and I rode it straight to Alaska. And that was a 20,000 mile trip. I did 20,000 miles in 2 months, and I loved every second of it. From then on, each summer I did a new trip, whether it was Newfoundland and Labrador or the Great Lakes or New Orleans. I always had a big trip every year. Those trips dropped off quite a bit when I had my son, and that was 6 years ago. So to offset my need for wanting motorcycle travel and to wanting to get out on my bike, I started this little business to introduce other people to motorcycling, not only in Vermont, but all throughout the Northeast and New England and Atlantic Canada. We started with 4 bikes. We had a pretty slow summer. There weren't many people that even knew about us. And in fact, that first summer was when Hurricane Irene hit and wiped out about half of our reservations because it hit right during our most popular season, which is foliage. So it started out pretty rough, but by the next season we had done some promotion and word had caught on, and we were starting to get customers from all over the world. We doubled our inventory the next season to 8 bikes. And then finally last season we were up to 12 bikes, and this season we'll be up to 14 or 15 bikes. So we're growing every year. We get customers from, like I said, right down the street to Argentina, Venezuela, Brazil. South America has been huge. We have customers coming over from Europe all the time, from Australia, from Asia. We just took a booking yesterday from 4 guys from Scotland. They're coming over in July. We also took a booking yesterday from 3 guys from New Jersey. So it's pretty cool. We get, all walks of life, all people from all over the world, and but they all share a common bond, and that's motorcycling and motorcycle travel. They're all super appreciative of our services and our inventory. We try and keep our bikes very fresh, very clean. Maintenance is key for us. If a bike breaks down out there, it really sucks for the customer. It sucks for us too, because we stand by our machines, and if there's a mishap out there, we're going to get that person a new bike right away, no matter what. And that means, I've driven through the night to Halifax, Nova Scotia. I've gotten up at 4 in the morning and had bikes. Had to fix flat tires in the Northeast Kingdom. So it's part of the gig, and sometimes it's tough, but we want to make sure everyone has a flawless trip, and we do everything in our power to make that happen. So we're heading into our 4th season now, and like I said, we've got people from all over the world coming in, and it's awesome. We also have a little bit of a gear shop, so we sell riding gear as well as luggage. Wolfman motorcycle luggage we're a dealer for as well. We love to see motorcyclists come in, so even if you're not renting a bike from us or taking one of our tours, we'd love to see travelers stopping by. We have maps from every one of the states in this region, and we've got a great knowledge of the roads. So if you're in Burlington, Vermont, please stop by. We'll point you towards the best place to eat, the best place to ride, and we'll shake your hand and make sure you're doing okay.
Our tours stay mainly in the New England area. We do have some Nova Scotia routes. We do have some Quebec routes as well. People go all over the place. They come in and they go down to DC, to New York City, to Boston, to the Finger Lakes of New York. There's so many great riding destinations. Within a half day, you can be in the Olympic Village of Lake Placid. You can be in beautiful, lush southern Vermont. You can be on the coast of Maine. You can be in Quebec City, the last remaining walled city in North America. There's a lot of different places to go. Within a day, you can be in Nova Scotia, Gaspé, up on the St. Lawrence Seaway. I think a big part of the reason I got into this business was to meet travelers and meet folks that are into motorcycling and into traveling like I am. And I've been traveling this state for 15 years now by motorcycle, so I know a lot of little nooks and crannies that I love to share with people. And I think my favorite, well, two favorite things, I loved when I pick someone up at the airport and I pull them up in front of our shop and their gleaming bike is sitting there and I see the smile on their face and the imagination goes into sixth gear and you can just see them, they're already on the road and they're already having a blast, and that's awesome. And then my second favorite thing is when they come back and they say, Eric, that road was amazing. That meal we had in Grafton last night was phenomenal. I've never had a rack of lamb like that. I've never seen the sunset on the coast of Acadia. I've never seen that before, and that was amazing. I've never seen a whale breach before. And that's really my favorite, is for them coming back and sharing their experiences with me. I started this business 4 years ago with 4 bikes in a storage unit and a pickup truck. And 4 years later, we've added on different kinds of tours. We've added on a bunch more bikes. And we have hundreds of people coming in every summer from all over the world. We've had customers from Brazil, Japan, New York City, Los Angeles, South America, everywhere. I mean, each one's unique, each one shares my passion for riding, and we try and show them all the best time possible and put them on roads and in places that they wouldn't normally find on their own. So that's our niche, and that's what we do here.